Hey there, Icarus here, and welcome to the final compilation of Bring Your Own Class. It brings me great joy to be able to say those words until they release more classes in a future update. But until then, this is it. I'm done. And we start things off with Bandit Bowie. He used to have skin, and then it fell off. Nice thing about Bandit Bowie is he's got an eternally available melee alt fire, allowing you to combo out of your primary into a series of punches, winding up with a pitchfork stab. His starting revolver also has an eternal burning flame on the end of it, which, as you might imagine, means yes, you can set enemies on fire, but only after you've hit them with enough bullets. Shotgun is pretty shotgun as shotguns go. The super shotgun slot, however, allows you to throw a cactus, which sticks to enemies, and if you've got a gore mod going, woo! Chain gun slot's fun, it's crank operated, and it shoots electrified bullets. Dynamite can be charged for a heavier throw, added bonus of damned soul spilling out of it when it detonates. The Magnum shoots fire, which also helpfully sticks around. And the Flesh Peeler, well, it does exactly what it says on the tin. They still want to kill you, they're just a lot less good at it. This next entry in Bring Your Own Class introduces you to Codsworth, a cod, catfish, and koi-fish hybrid who is also, of course, a chef. First thing you need to know about Codsworth is you do not want to get into a fist fight with Codsworth because, good grief, he got hands. Well, flippers, but still, good grief. He also starts off with a crossbow that shoots fish, which can be loaded up to 5 total fish at a time for rapid-fire fish flinging. The shotgun shoots oil, which can indeed be pumped for additional power. And the super shotgun is an actual fish that you feed in order to fire. Apparently 2 fire modes, only messed with the first. Chain gun apparently shoots deboned sardines, with hilarious tiny sardine skeletons just spitting out the side like shell casings. And the alt fire is just, well, it's a big ol' anchor, innit? Trash can lid can be thrown like a hilariously explosive frisbee, can be used as a mine. Plasma gun slot is a straight up lightning gun which can shoot an entire eel. And if you just want to kill everything, well here, have a big old bucket of piranhas. If things were getting a little too wild for you in Bring Your Own Class, then fear not. Next up we've got Mobster Matt. For the most part, a character that operates in a very similar fashion to that of Doom Guy. Weaponry following a similar trajectory. The super shotgun, however, fires each barrel sequentially. The rocket launcher is a grenade launcher. Yes, they do indeed bounce. The plasma rifle is swapped out for a good old-fashioned Molotov cocktail. And as for the BFG, well, it's a car. Big old car. Apparently this was the first class to do it. Tony Soprano's just following in the footsteps of the OG gangster here, and yes, you can indeed honk the horn. Chainsaw slot swapped out for a baseball bat. I'm not sure if it's supposed to vibrate as much as it does here, but it sure seems effective at breaking kneecaps. And you know what? I just like the Tommy gun. I think they're neat. Next in Bring Your Own Class, we have Gumbold. More specifically, Sheriff Gumbold. Sheriff of where? I genuinely don't know. He's some type of frog person, and he really enjoys playing the banjo. As do I when it comes to humiliating a recently downed enemy. Gumbold also features a rage meter, which when maxed out will allow you to increase your rate of fire, and can be increased at varying rates depending on which weapon you're using. Of those, I'm a fan of the musket, which fires bugs, as well as the bug lantern, which, yes, also fires bugs, and can be thrown for a pool of damaging fire. You got a rifle that can fire beans, and when all else fails you can just spit ice projectiles at them from your mouth, I guess. Or kiss them. Not sure that works as well. You can also show demons the contents of your Rule 34 collection, and then there's this little guy. He's cute. Sick 'em! Eat them! Feast on the bones! Bring Your Own Class continues with Stick Guy. If you were kicking around the internet in the early to mid-2000s, chances are you saw him as the protagonist of many a Flash animation. But here, it's certainly less Stickman on Stickman violence and more demon-orientated. Stick Guy's main quirk here is that the more you slap around enemies with the melee, the longer you can enjoy a much faster fire rate for your weaponry. Well worth doing because the effectiveness is certainly much increased as a result. On the flip side to this, killing enemies with your standard weapons feeds back into rage, which is where your melee becomes more powerful as a result. So it's a nice bit of ebb and flow. You can build up the melee to take a great big chunk out of chunkier enemies and then feed the effects of that melee back into your weaponry. Of which I'm a fan of the full auto effect that you can get for the SSG, the sheer amount of grenades you can spit from the grenade launcher, and the BFG slot, which is just machine gun punches with a big ass follow-up. Capping off Bring Your Own Class is an entry I can't say out loud without triggering some degree of Big Bang Theory brain rot.
Bazinga.
Thankfully, the class itself is much more tolerable. A bit of interesting stuff going on with the weapons here. The pistol, for example, on its primary can send enemies flying up into the air where they'll receive extra damage and get slammed back down. Alt fire can suck enemies towards you. The shotgun is full auto, but also heals you as you deal damage. The super shotgun fires a single shot shell that is actually 6 shells in one. Apparently, it can take down a revenant in one blow. Haven't succeeded yet. The Poozies get more accurate the longer you shoot them, and the rocket launcher is actually a rocket-powered skateboard. Certainly the most interesting, though, is the Bindle, which can summon a variety of companions, all of which with an interesting little ability. Some attack, some protect, some spill useful items when they die. Alt-fire gives yourself a nice little present, and BFG slot summons an orbital cat laser strike from the sky. And that, ladies and germs, as they say, is that. True, there may be more classes added to Bring Your Own Class in the very near future, but as of version 1.5 on GZ Doom, I am done. Firstly, I think it's only right that I commend the oodles of talent that's no doubt poured into Bring Your Own Class from many authors in terms of bringing these classes, these playstyles to life. And secondly, I feel like I have to unequivocally state that the way I have been playing Bring Your Own Class is not the most optimal way to experience Bring Your Own Class. My priority was trying to get through as many of them as possible in the most efficient way possible. That's why you're going to see gaps, that's why you're going to see omissions. I literally only had 1 minute maximum to spend on each one of these classes each week, and yeah, getting that all out was a bit of a mad dash every time I sat down and had the opportunity to edit and record. I'm hoping at the very least that I managed to convey some of the essence of these classes, but ultimately, one day I do truly hope to experience the full fat Bring Your Own Class experience, which, as far as I can tell, is only done so in the realm of cooperative play. Now, when it comes to the grand experiment of me doing this as shorts 5 days a week for 9 weeks straight, I'm not so sure that really worked out as I intended it to. Truth be told, I was entirely trying to game the YouTube Shorts algorithm. There is somewhat of a priority towards that kind of content at the moment, and if it's going to help boost my channel somewhat, why not? Give it a try, see what happens. Now, on one hand, sure, I did see an improvement in terms of audience, but that's kind of difficult not to do when you're posting 5 days a week for, God, 9 weeks straight. I think another important thing to note is that the ad rev that creators get for posting shorts is absolute peanuts. In fact, the actual result of this in sum total is that I have done worse overall as a result of conducting this particular experiment. So yeah, I think I'm going to be thoroughly deprioritizing the shorts, that's for sure. And if anything, there's going to be more of a return to the usual style of programming. Because YouTube really doesn't like it when you try to mess with whatever niche or specialization that you've established yourself in. It really wants you to burrow into that particular cliff face and stay there. But hey, if you want to experience what I do outside of this particular pigeonhole here, there's always my secondary channel, Icarus Lives Again. To be honest, I could use the help. It's currently unmonetized despite being over 1,000 subs. That's largely due to some other annoying hurdle that YouTube has established in terms of overall yearly watch times. So yeah, if you find something, watch it about 100 times over for me, please. You will actually be helping me out. In terms of more direct ways you can help me out, there's Patreon. $1 is the minimum to get on this esteemed list of wonderful people that support this channel and keep things ticking along. And honestly, if I had $1 for everyone who watches my videos, I would actually be living kind of comfortably right now. Wouldn't that be nice? Either way, up to you. I don't mind. I'm gonna go now, have a nice cup of tea, and maybe a lie down. This has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you so very much for watching. Icarus out.